Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, it's going to be a Sunday series, a best of 5, if you will, between Zest and Deer from the quarterfinals of WCS Asus Rogue Assembly Summer 2019. And let's go ahead and get right on into it. Top left-hand corner of game number 1 here on King's Cove is the red Protoss player. It is Deer. And in the bottom right, it is Zest. All right, so two very high-level Korean players coming at you today. Neither of them qualified for BlizzCon, for that top 16, the WCS Global Finals, nor obviously to the BlizzCon Final 8. So I just figured I'd cast two players that we haven't seen a lot of recently in live StarCraft, but two players who are very good in and of themselves, and also to see a best of 5 in a PvP setting. have I ever done a best of 5 in a PvP? I'm not sure that I have, to be honest with you, so we'll see how it goes. I expect to see a lot of Stalkers, a lot of Immortals, maybe some Disruptors in play here too, possibly some Void Rays for some aggressive play. I don't know. I honestly don't know what we're going to see all throughout these games, but it's going to be a lot of fun regardless. But anyway, hit that like button if you enjoy the PvP. The more likes I get, the more I'll know how popular it is, and then we can discuss doing future PvPs along the way. Or maybe you just want to watch Korean best of 5s too. We don't care what the race distribution is. That's totally fine as well. So, I mean, it's PvP early game. And the current meta, we're just looking at all the same production tabs all the way down here. That Cybernetics core was a little bit sooner for Zest. Okay, no big deal there. And Gateway's on the way and Probes on the way. And we do have the proxy from Zest, though. All right, let's do the proxy shenanigans coming at ya. I love a good proxy in the morning. Oh, maybe the same thing down here for Deer. Deer, are you gonna do something here? Well, that is definitely a Stargate, and that is definitely a Stargate. We got double proxy Stargates coming. This has just got to be Oracles, doesn't it? It's got to be Oracles heading on out to try to do some damage. I don't know why else you proxy a Stargate like this. Both players kind of scouting around, trying to see if they can find proxies possibly that exist in their neck of the woods, but neither probe is going to find it just yet. Maybe later. Oh, that probe, if it could look up cliffs. If it could look up cliffs. How about this probe? Is this probe going to find this thing? And the thing is, if you do it too close to your opponent, then they know, right? They find it. And if it's far enough, too far away. Oh, yeah, here we go. Deer, finding it. Finding the Stargate. Can't really do anything about it at this point. Is going to try to take down that pylon and depower it. If he sends his Stalkers over, that'd be pretty interesting, actually. Depowering that would be interesting. It's being Chrono Boost, however. And it's going to be a Phoenix, actually, on the other side of things here for Deer. Oh, the probe still didn't find it, though. Still doesn't know.
Is under attack.
I know. Still doesn't know that it exists. This probe is dead, though. I mean, probe, you should probably run, my guy. You're doing the Oracle. Well, maybe he's just baiting the Oracle and using energy now, right? If you turn on the Pulsar Beam, that's energy, and it's energy draining. And then maybe the probe's on the other side. Well, I'm not even sure. You're going to try something here? Are you heading back for base defense? Keep an eye on that. There was a bit of a pylon block here from Zest, but Deer got his expansion down, no problem. Same story here for Zest, though. Zest is actually further away along. And yeah, he's just going to go ahead and use the Oracle for base defense because he knows there's probably some shenanigans happening, and it's going to be Phoenix on the opening here from Deer. I like it. I like it quite a bit here. Oh, the Phoenix are going to be so good in this situation if there are multiple Oracles out, too. Are there multiple Oracles out? I don't know. I wouldn't pop an Oracle out at all. Another one here for if I was Zest. But yeah, 3 Phoenix in here. So the Stalkers are a problem. The Sentry is a problem. The Oracle not a problem, obviously. And another Stalker warping in is obviously another big issue here. So I don't know, man. Mass Phoenix can be really good in PvP. It depends on the Stalker count of your opponent, how many sentries they have. Can they handle your Phoenix count? If they can handle it, great. If they can't, then you pretty much can just win with this in a PvP. I know you can't kill buildings, but you can do stuff like this pretty effectively. And that is 6 probes down. 6 probes down. Worker count is 28 to 27. Zest is down, but just a little bit. He's probing pretty hard right around there. Robotics facility up here for Deer. The Phoenix flying on into the main base. The Stalker's out of position here. Oh gosh, positioning is so stupid important. Are you out of energy? Are you out of energy or worried about what's going on the other side of the map here? There are stalkers waiting for the Oracle to come in. The Oracle shouldn't be able to do anything here either. Again, positioning willing. But at this point, Zest is like, all right, let's see. I have a bunch of stalkers. I can handle your Phoenix quite effectively. And if I pick off a couple of your probes up here, that is going to help even more. Look at this pull, though. Reducing tons of mining time from that main. And the counterattack here from Zest is real. It's 19 to 26 army supply, though. Again, a lot of that is in Phoenix. Stalkers go ahead and just content themselves with going after the pylon. And the rest of the army shows up, and we'll just blink on out of here. I mean, the sentry can't run is the problem. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Deer's pulling ahead here with the lift and kills. Oh, the Stalker's getting extra damage there as well. I would not be surprised to see Zest just tap out here. He is losing so much army. 20 to 9 army supply. I don't care who you are. I don't care what game you're playing in StarCraft. But if you're at half of your opponent's army supply, or a third of your opponent's army supply, it's going to be a bad feeling. That Oracle's not getting anything done at all here. Zest is getting crushed. This game 1, man, is not even close. 3 probes killed, sure, fantastic. But army supply 25 to 8. Making nothing but stalkers here, really. I'd love to see Deer make a push out. Maybe once he makes an immortal. Does he have an immortal? He had an observer. I guess maybe worried about desperation DTs. It does seem like it's a something of a possibility here, but shield battery is going to help in the situation for sure. They always do, especially against something that doesn't hit very hard like, you know, Phoenix. Oh, 1 Phoenix died. A little bit of some sloppy control there from Deer. Don't like to see that. And Zest is expanding to the bottom left. Hilariously, going for a third and hoping he can keep it if his opponent can't find it. Ah, these probes not in range. Not in range of these shield batteries at all. Ugh. What's the army supply? 31 to 18. Zest is keeping up. He's actually making a bit of a recovery here. Some adepts came into the main base of Zest and killed a couple probes, but nothing too major, I gotta say. Yeah, I mean, the longer this goes, the more Zest seems to be able to pull ahead. He's getting a third base, which is going to help immensely in just a couple minutes here. And both players have depowered Stargate sitting out in the middle of the map, which again is just hilarious. Now, here's the thing. Immortal count is a big deal in PvP. And right now we're looking at Deer with an immortal and Zest with no immortals, nor does he have the tech to make any of them at all. No robotics facility whatsoever. And this can be a big problem. We've seen this in PvPs for years now. 2 immortals show up, or 1 immortal shows up in a stalker versus stalker fight, and the player with the immortals wins that thing. Just because immortals with their bonus damage to armored are so good in stalker versus stalker fights. Look at this, stalkers, but 2 immortals. Yeah, I mean, this is even, oh my gosh, blink out of there. Yeah, that's not where you want to be. Losing 1 stalker a little bit carelessly. Getting hit there again. The immortals leading the charge here, which I kind of like. You want them to get their shots off first. Observer says, I'm seeing that there's nothing really to stop us from coming in here with Phoenix and killing a couple more probes once we have the energy to do so. Zest says, I can't engage with this straight up. So we're just going to march into the natural base and see what we can do. Again, the mobility is really important here for the Stalkers. But Zest kind of started to saturate up his third base here. Just starting a third base now is Deer. And again, Deer has the better composition. I really would like to see him just go. I don't know what he's holding back for. I guess the Blink Stalkers are more mobile. He's worried about getting backstabbed, but if you're going to base race, honestly, having Immortals is going to help pretty immensely there. Immortals, good against buildings, good against everything, really. And again, just using as much energy as possible. Keep that worker count low, but Zest still has the lead because, again, the third base has been up. He can saturate it. Stalkers don't go up that ramp. You're going to lose at least 1, and does lose a Stalker without question. Long-distance mining happening from Deer's third base. Robotics facility on the way from Zest. In this game, the longer it goes on, the more I kind of feel like Zest has got a handle on it. And it's usually interesting because, well, generally, Zest is the more cautious player in the games that I've cast of his. But in this situation, Deer is just not really interested in doing a whole lot here. Did she just wall these probes in? He walled these probes in because there's no detection, because the robotics facility... Oh, is just coming up. Oh my gosh, there's no detection at all. Yeah, he's gonna lose that. The shield battery's not gonna have enough energy. Oh, the force field! The force field is insane! And the healing is so good here too. He has to recall the Dark Templar out. Oh, that's disgusting. DT's getting into the main base though. Taking down a pylon, depowering some... Oh, taking down a couple pylons, depowering a bunch of warp gates here. Oh, and then detection shows up, and that little window has now closed. Phoenix killing some probes there, too. Oh, the force field, preventing the DT from getting close enough to that robotics facility to hit it. I've always said you shouldn't be able to throw down force fields where units exist already. You should be able to, or be forced to kind of work around them. But I don't know. It's a question for the balance team. We're looking at 71 to 40 army supply. It's a nice lead here for Deer. It's about 30 on that one. Army worker supply is about the same. A bunch of probes have died today. 10 probes of Deers, but 22 of Zest is a huge number. This feels like a death push to me. I'm looking at it, and there are Phoenix to do some lifting as necessary. There are 4 Immortals here, and a bunch of Zealots with charge. Guardian Shield is up. That means it's go time. That is a limited time spell. Trying to kill one of those Zealots if you can. Again, just finding little damage in these situations is good. Are we going for it? We're going for it! Moving right on in. Archon's in the front, going after the Zealot. Zealot count for Zest is falling apart. Deer pushing on in. Archon's fighting. Doing a bit of a dance here. Army supply 60 to 30 in favor of Deer. Just slowly whittling it down. The Immortals doing so much work here. One Immortal does go down, but the 4 still remaining. Zealot's getting on top of those Archons. Not generally a great fight, but it doesn't really matter. 16-14 army supply here for Zest. He's done. Game 1 is going to go to Deer. Not tapping out yet. Really not interested in going home from Game 1 quite at this moment. I'm not sure what exactly he's fighting for. I guess he knows he has a third base he can kind of rely on a little bit. But DTs are hammering away, and that's your good game. Deer does take game number 1 in 11 minutes and 38 seconds. So yeah, pretty interesting game. I like the Phoenix opening from Zest, or from Deer rather. I really did. Again, the number of probes killed in this game, 37 probes went down, killed by Deer there, only 10 by Zest. And at the end of the day, that was your big deal. That was a humongous deal for the, I was going to say for the Protoss player, but no, for the red player here today. Really slowing down that economy. Third base was here, but didn't really matter. The Immortal count was a big player, and the DT harassment pretty fantastic too. Depowering those warp gates and preventing Zest from spending his money as fast as he wanted to, right up to the moments leading to that engagement. So nicely done. Good game 1 there out of Deer for sure. It kind of felt like Zest had the upper hand as far as predicting this series, and it's not over yet, so we still have some time to go. But fantastic job by Deer getting the opening win salvo. It's going to be it for game 1. We'll be back with game 2 in just a second. Game 2 is here on Cyber Forest. Top left, it is Deer. Bottom right again, still wearing blue, it is Zest. All right, so before we get into this game, just want to make sure you know about the Falcon Paladin Hour. It is a weekly podcast with myself and Samacron talking about StarCraft 2 and anime and other TV shows and movies and books and magazines and stuff and video games, and it's just a pretty nerdy hour. So if you feel like you would enjoy that, then just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app or Falcon Paladin Hour in a browser, and you will be there. All right. So Samacron and I basically bet each other embarrassing stuff on StarCraft 2 professional tournaments, and boy, the last time I lost, I had to watch the pilot episode of a very, very embarrassing anime and record my reaction, and that is motivation. That is motivation to do better next time, I tell you what. Whew. Anyway, early PvP. Unless you're cannon rushing, you just go double gate and double gas and just whatever you want to do from these gateways other than Zealots. Do not make Zealots in PvP early, you guys. You can make them late after they have charge, but man, slow Zealots are so bad. So bad here. Now, they are somewhat good. Somewhat good against Zerg, and maybe a little bit better here against Terran. But man, in PvP, they are a waste of space, a waste of resources, a waste of energy, a waste of supply, just in every possible way. Once you have charge for them, fine, it's fine. Zest throwing up the pylon. Liking it. I'm liking the continuation of the theme here. He needs to win a game. If he goes down 2-0 in this best of 5, it's really hard to come back. I think traditionally, if you go up 2-0 in a best of 5 in StarCraft 2, you're going to win that thing about 80% of the time. So those are not numbers. Those are not numbers you want to play around with. So definitely you want to win this and tie it up. If you don't, bad stuff will happen. So double adept, the choice here for the barcode player. Deer. On the other side is going to be Stalkers. Now, this can be a bit of a chess match with this matchup we have here. The Adepts can shade in, or threaten a shade in at least, and keep the Stalkers at home, which is annoying. On the other end, the Adepts cannot defend at all against these Stalkers. The Stalkers will get in and start killing probes, and the Adepts are just like, we just got to go across the map. So if you make Adepts, move them out. I mean, maybe kill this probe first, sure, but then move them out because they're pretty effectively just horribly bad. Oh, is he keeping the Adepts at home? I mean, to some extent, why would you kill this pylon? I guess he wants to make sure that that Stargate finishes. Okay, so he knows that it finished. He has that intel, and he's probably going to cancel the, cancels the pylons. We got ourselves a, proxy immortal here from Zest. Zest recognizing, okay, in the last game, I didn't have nearly enough immortals. Translation, I don't think I had any immortals in that final battle, and I got my patootie kicked. So, let's see what he can do here with a very early immortal style. Again, the Adepts are playing defense, and that's bad. Is he worrying that much about some kind of an attack coming in, maybe with Adepts? I don't know why he would stay home in this situation. I really don't. So no expansion out from Zest, and that did get scouted by Deer. So I think Deer's going to hold off a little bit. Is he going to... I don't know if I would expand here if your opponent's sitting on one base. He's got enough resources to do so. He's thinking about it. He's not throwing it down. He wants a few more units here. There you go. All right, tosses it up. No big deal. Phoenix does end up scouting the Proxy Robotics facility, but there are Stalkers here to shut down any kind of harassment that the Phoenix are going to try to do. And the Phoenix on the other side, this is what cannons or shield batteries are for, man. You have a forge, you don't. Okay, so the thing is, wow, Deer's in trouble. If Deer only has a handful of Phoenix and a couple Stalkers against this, again, Immortals are king. I honestly don't know why Immortal Rush isn't more popular in the PvP, but I guess it's more... It's kind of the game, right? That's what we're looking at here today. I imagine this Immortal is going to get lifted once they move in. That's going to be the only real saving grace here for Deer. Yeah, look, he canceled his natural and was like, yeah, let's not try to expand behind or against a one-base attack from my opponent right now. Those Phoenix are frustratingly annoying, but I don't know if they can win the game here for Deer. Oh, you try to lift too early, and then your Phoenix just dies because the Stalkers murder it. Being pretty patient here, and again, every time you get too close, bad stuff happens. Guardian Shield looking pretty good, and taking out a Warp Gate is so big. So big. There's only 2 Warp Gates now that Deer can use to reinforce here in this defensive position. He's going to go ahead and warp in a couple of Adepts, try to get into the main base, but I think that's a hard wall. I am pretty sure that's a hard wall. Zest is all inning right now, guys. He's got 23 workers, and he's not making any more than that. Now, going up this ramp can be problematic, but I don't think there are any sentries out for Deer. Any force fields that are coming down are Zests. Pretty sure they are. Lift and kill, lift and kill. Again, taking on that Warp Gate is just massively good here. And he does. God, it's such a patient all-in we're seeing. Usually you just kind of go. I love these Adepts that are trying to get through this pylon. They will, but maybe not before you're dead on the other side of the map is the problem here. Stalkers are taking the shots, trying to lift and kill these Stalkers, but it doesn't really matter at the end of time right now. Probes are going down, pylons are down, and Zest gets the win here. Ties it up with a one-base all-in Proxy Robotics facility, showing what up with the Immortal. The Immortal ends up doing terrible damage. How many kills do you have, Immortal, at the end of this game? Only the 1. Let's see if he gets any more throughout the next little bit here. Kind of stuck on this ramp, and that's the trick with these all-ins, is you got to go up a ramp to win generally, and that's hard to do against Protoss. But there were no sentries to throw up force fields. This Immortal ends up getting a couple kills and really just doing a lot of damage to those Warp Gates too. And that's where the victory is. So yeah, end of the day there, making those Phoenix really did not pay off. They didn't do enough for Deer, really, in any situation there. I don't think they killed any probes. I guess 1 probe died here for Zest, but I think that was on the other side of the map. And yeah, it definitely was. The Adepts killed that one. And yeah, I mean, for a couple sentries and 4 Stalkers, Zest was able to win that game. Really effective win there. And again, the Proxy Immortal not scouted, and not at least until it was too late. I mean, Deer was able to cancel his natural and do what he could there, but he didn't have any force fields. He didn't have any Immortals. He really went into that Phoenix play that he did in game 1, and it really backfired on him. So nice job by Zest adjusting to the situation. And let's go into game at number 3, tied up 1-1. Where'd my 1 go? There's my 1. All right, so we're on Thunderbird for game number 3. Bottom right, it is the blue Zerg player Zest. Top left, still red, it is Deer. Interesting how we've had the same spawning locations on each different map for the first 3 games, but sometimes that's what happens. It's just RNG. Let's see, what else can we talk about here in the early game when in the Protoss versus Protoss matchup? Production tab shows the very, very same things. We'll keep an eye on it, but anyway, you know that I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. I know that I'm on Twitch, but what I'm doing out there is stuff like the Carbot campaign for StarCraft Brood War, which has been so much fun. So much fun to do. People come in and say, what is this? And they hop in and they have a great time with it. So please check that out. I also do World of Warcraft during the weekdays. I've been also doing some 2v2 StarCraft 2 from time to time with Somicron, which is a ton of fun. And yeah, come check it out, man. I know a lot of people don't like to go to Twitch. I understand, but twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin is the place to go if you want to see me do live stuff. If you want to see me do VODs, well, in fairness, I do live Brood War every Saturday, but I'm not sure how much you guys are interested in that because you're here for the StarCraft 2. Anyways, whatever. Here we go. Pro moving out across the map here. Go and see what he can see. The answer is honestly the same. The only difference is nobody's proxying anything here in Game 3, which I find fairly interesting. The proxies were effective, man, and this is a really big map, too. Does this count as a proxy for Zest if he puts it right outside his third base? Maybe it counts. I don't know. Probe coming in to see what he can see. The answer is, well, all the pylons. Actually, not all the pylons are accounted for. There's one missing out here. So if you want to count, there's one. Where's the second one? Aha! The second one is missing. It is outside somewhere. Is this just a mind game, right? Maybe just to feel... Maybe to make Deer feel like Zest is proxying when he's not. Because this does not count as a proxy. If you build a Stargate here, it's hidden. But it's not a proxy. You're not... Well, you're a tiny bit closer than you otherwise would be to your opponent's base. How about that? And as the crow flies, I'm not sure it is, to be honest. You build a Stargate up here instead of down here. It's probably closer. Again, as the crow flies. Zest scouting around, because again, Protoss is the best race for worker scouting. I'd love to see more of it, but hey, you've heard me complain about that enough. So we got a sentry up. If you make a sentry early, it indicates you're probably going to be fairly defensive. Stalkers on the way mean more of an offensive play. For sure. Although good at defense too. Stalkers is kind of your all-around good unit in PvP without question. Got a robotics facility on the way from Deer because of course there is. And let's see what the tech choice is here from Zest. Surprisingly, nothing yet. He got his cybernetics core here. Oh, he's expanding. Oh, all right. Boy, I don't know about this. This is a really aggressive play for a series that's kind of been, like, fast and tight. All right, so Stalker's heading up, taking different routes here, trying to make it seem like there's only 2 coming across the map when there are really 4 that in general are going to show up. So Probe comes in and says, all right, sentries, I can handle that. Stalkers can handle sentries. Let's go. If that's what he chose to make with his first 4 units out, maybe we can do this. Guardian Shield is going to be really big here. Oh, is he going to slow warp in some units at the front? That'd be good. That'd be really good if it was. But here we go. 3 Stalkers and 3 sentries versus 4 Stalkers. I mean, I guess, okay, so free sentry there, not bad, honestly. Oh, the control. Ooh, did lose one. He almost got away without losing any of those Stalkers, which would have been incredible. Is Warp Gate done? Yes, both players have Warp Gate, because of course you're getting Warp Gate. Robotics Bay on the way from Deer. That's the first time we've seen that today, probably for Disruptors in a PvP scenario. Colossus fairly good too, but this is not Wings of Liberty, where Colossus were the end-all be-all of PvP for a long time. It was very War of the Worlds. If you were around back during those days, it was very much who has the most Colossus is going to win this PvP today. And it was just blah, blah, big old laser beams everywhere all the time. It was like it would be a 5-gate robo, one base play. That's what PvP was for a while. Anyway, PvP was not very fun or interactive at that time. War Prism comes in and pulls the entire army back, which is honestly a pretty decent response here. Get out! There's a... Oh, this is so dang scary. Pick him up. Pick him up and go. There we go. War Prism getting on out of there. Maybe a push at the front would have been nice with your 4 units, although maybe not. Fair enough. So they're going to kill this pylon, which again was just mind games. It wasn't really anything Zest was trying to do as far as hiding tech is concerned. But his expansion is out, and Deer is in trouble. Deer is not throwing out an expansion at all. Continues to just throw up warp gates. Could he? I mean, you could just toss up a gateway here, you know, and get a fast warp in, but he feels worried about it, I guess. So Immortal count is currently 1-to-1, which is what you want to see here. as far as an even battle is concerned. Ooh, Disruptor in production. This really could come down to one Disruptor hit. I'm looking at it. Feels like it could be. Stalker trying to get some stuff done. I guess a couple probes died there. Yeah, 2 and 1. Nothing really to write home about. The important thing is Zest is on 2 bases. Dos besitos. I don't know what base is at all in Spanish. What it would translate to. I don't know if it's a direct translation. Base is one of those words that has multiple meanings, and so as a result, I don't think so. Anyway, here we go. This is, I mean, still not expanding, man. He's kind of checking around. He's long distance mining for one of his probes just because he's oversaturated in his main. He's going to come in here. This pre-split is amazing. Disruptor picked up, almost dead. Can he send the Nova through? He can. And great split. Only one Stalker goes down. The Immortal's taking some serious shots. Oh, did it get saved? No, it did end up going down there. Zest is hanging on, but is it enough is the question. 31 to 20 army supply. It is the army advantage here for Deer, but it's Adepts and it's Sentries and it's a Disruptor. These 2 Immortals are going to have a field day in that situation. Shading through the force fields and dragging on up, canceling the transfer very intelligently there. Yeah, more units coming. I don't know that he does. He's making another Disruptor, but these Immortals, again, paying for themselves in every possible way. They're so hard for Adepts to kill. So hard for Zealots to kill, especially if they don't have charge. And this is really tight for Deer. I don't know if this is going to work, guys. I mean, sure, doing some more of that shenanigan stuff there. Disruptor shot did take down 2 probes, which is all right. Adepts continuing to shade on in to see what is what. At least dragging Zest's army back. And then canceling the shade at the last second. Disruptor really needs a big hit, but I think Zest is prepared for this. I'm just going to throw that out. I feel like Zest is not going to have a problem with it at all. Man, if he can get those Immortals. It's impossible, though. There's... Both players have Warp Prisms. That's not going to happen at all. Oh, the fancy micro. Getting shots off on those Adepts. Not doing bonus damage versus them, but any damage is still considered damage. And he can't really pin these Immortals down for either player because the Warp Prism exists here. Oh, this is so crazy. The longer this goes, the worse it is for Deer. I keep saying these. The Adepts do get in, actually. They're going to try to kill a few probes while attacking on in the front. Oh, did he force field in? He force fielded in Zest in his own base. Nova, huge Nova hit coming up the ramp, taking advantage of the fact they can go through. Oh, gets an Immortal too. Massive, massive hit. He recalls down to his own natural base to try to save things here. What a very tight match this is, but it's a 48-31 army supply advantage for Deer. The Immortal count favoring Zest, however, in that it is a 2 Immortal to 0 Immortal thing, and Zest taps out. Deer does manage to make it happen there from the 1 base attack, being down on Immortals, but the Disruptor hits were too good. The patience at the end of the day was too good. Who is still here? Who's doing music? Leave the game. The game's over. It's totally over. There we go. Hunry's out. All right. So 5,700 losses there for Zest, 3,600 for Deer. Just... wow, 4 Immortals died for Zest. That's way more than I thought would have been dead. He had oh, did he lose? He lost both his Immortals at the end there. That was it. Well, plus all his army was dead. Literally, he had an Observer. Fair enough. I mean, look at this. Look at this not scary army. 13 Adepts, a Stalker, and 2 Disruptors. I mean, I guess, depending on what you're up against, that could be a pretty scary army. But yeah, end of the day there, woof, Disruptor tech, making it happen. The PvP, man, a little more varied than people might think. So tell your friends to come watch this PvP. Because we are not done yet. We are far, far from done. We've got at least 1 more game to go. It can be a 3-1 finish, or can Zest force to game 5? Don't know. Stick with me. We'll find out. How is Zest always on the bottom side of the map? This is weird. All right, so game 4 here on New Repugnancy. It is the Blue Protoss player. Zest, top right, it's red. Again, it is Deer. All right, man. PvP. A lot more varied than I expected here. I haven't watched a best of 5 PvP for a while, but man, every game has been different. We have had Phoenix, we've had Disruptors, we've had Immortals and Stalkers and Sentries and Adepts and Zealots and Warp Prisms here today. So what can we do to mix it up even further? Colossus would be kind of fun, although I don't think they really fit into the current meta. Unless your opponent is going for like a lot of zealots, then sure, Colossus would be fun, but Destructor is also pretty good too when it comes down to it. And I'm trying to think of what else we could do. We could go more Sky Toss, more Void Rays, possibly some carriers would be fun. Tempest interesting. But I kind of feel like what we're looking at instead is some kind of variation on the theme of the first 3 games. But could be wrong. Could definitely be wrong about that. Who knows? Who rightly knows? Alright, well, you know there's merch. Falcon Paladin merchandise. There is a link in the description here. Probably one in the top right here as well. That you can click on. You can actually do prices in the currency from where you live now. It used to be stuck in Australian dollars, which was confusing for people, I think, but now you can see it in whatever the heck, euros or pounds or dollars or, I don't know, Canadian dollars if you're in that kind of thing, pesos maybe for Mexico. See what's what. The weather is cooling down in the northern hemisphere, so maybe you want a nice hoodie or a hat. You're in the market for it. Check it out, Falcon Paladin merch, at the handy URL of falconpaladin.store. How cool is that? We also have a very interesting, I consider it an ugly Christmas sweater t-shirt, which it made me laugh uproariously when we first saw the design. We're trying to get some more generic StarCraft 2 shirts out there too if you're interested in checking those out. But anyway, we're looking at Zest going for the proxy Stargate down south here again. He's in trouble, guys. Again, he's in a situation where he needs to win this thing to force a game 5. Not even like if he wins it, he goes home. No. He has won one of the 3 games so far, and he has dug himself into a hole. What? Remember when I was like, Zealots are bad, never make Zealots? Okay, what was that? Did he accidentally press Z for Zealots? He's making Stalkers now, but for a second there, that was definitely Zealots, and I don't know why. It's not like it was a fake out, because you can't see what's being made out of a warp gate like this. See, it's just... It's a warp gate is all it is. That was extremely confusing. Anyway, Stargate gets scouted up here. Once again, Zest just wants to know if this Stargate is going to finish or not. I don't know if he's going to get that information this time. The Stalkers might kill the pylon before the Stargate finishes. Oh, I think they're going to get it too. Cancel. There's the cancel. And now we could cancel the Stargate if we wanted to. But at this point, nah, says Deer. We're going to go for the Stargate. Going to go ahead and chrono boost out a nothing at the moment. Are you really chrono boosting out nothing? And there's your Oracle. What is going on with these timings here? That seems pretty sloppy. More Phoenix play from Zest, which he likes his Phoenix play. I'll tell you that much. Actually, that has been more Deer today, hasn't it? More of a Deer thing. So Zest just trying to copy it. Suppose is what he's up to here. Anyway, we got 4 Stalkers pushing out across the map. There are 2 Stalkers defending. You do the math, because I'm not going to do the math. Free probe's cool though. Holy smokes, there's no way. Is this really just going to be 4 Stalkers, take down 2 Stalkers, end of story? What is... Oh, shield battery turns the tides. And the Phoenix coming to help save the day. Lift the super injured one. Never mind, don't worry about that one. Wow. The Phoenix and the shield battery really kicked butt there. At the end of the day, it is a 14-9 army supply in favor of Zest. Nicely done. Nicely done. Is he going to lift this one too? Maybe once the 3 Phoenix are available. Yep, once the 2 Phoenix are here, 2 Phoenix can kill a Stalker in a decent amount of time. Oh, okay, if there's 3 Phoenix shooting, it's even better. So, crikey, 16-7 army supply right now. Expanding too is Deer. Haven't we learned about expanding yet, you guys? A player that expands is going to have a pretty bad time. I don't know. Phoenix coming on in. 4 Stalkers available, which is fine. I mean, 4 Stalkers against 4 Phoenix is going to win every day of the week. But what are we looking at for Stargate? Stargate count 1, Warp Gate count 2, Resonating Glaives on the way from Deer. Enjoying that quite a bit. And is he still hanging out waiting for an Oracle or a Phoenix or something? He is dragging the Stalkers away with these Phoenix, and then he's going to swoop in with the Oracle and try to do stuff. But the Stalker is a little bit wise to this plan. Ooh, are they though? Wrong location. You're in the wrong location. Dart on in. Let's go. Are the Phoenix... Oh, the Phoenix are going to distract. The Phoenix are going to distract. Man, or not even distract. They're just going to straight up murder 4 probes. That doesn't count as distraction at all. Oh, that was Deer's Oracle. Why was Deer's Oracle back there? How strange. I don't know. I don't know what that was, to be honest with you. I don't know why he was hiding back there. Maybe waiting for a Warpin or something to kill. Who knows? Deer is throwing up a pylon about the 3rd location of Zest down here down south. And a Resonating Glaive's pretty much the play here for Deer. Phoenix really just doing a good job of keeping Deer inside his base right now. Kills a couple more probes, takes some shots to the Phoenix, but not a big deal. I guess it's fair. I hate Phoenix harassed as Zerg, so I suppose it's only fair that Protoss knows how it feels to be Phoenix harassed like this. It's probably not a great experience. So army supply 26 to 32 in favor of Zest. He's had the lead for quite some time, and he's continued to build on it a little bit. Here we go. It's about a 1.5 base attack here at 28 workers. It's just, I thought ZVZ was volatile for when you should expect attacks. Because like a Ling Flood could show up at basically any time on the lower levels, like Diamond, but alright. He decided to commit here, man. He's got the Warp Gate, he's warping an Adepts. The Adepts are going for it. They're going to help against this is the question. They are. They're going to stick around to try to help against this. They're going to focus down that Immortal. Wow, Mortal down for Deer. Stalkers fighting. Adepts holding their own. Army supply exactly even right now. Phoenix killing the sentries for the most part, pulling back to the shield batteries here. Adepts trying to kill an Immortal through a shield battery is not great. And Zest is actually pulling probes right now, which is a really bad sign if you're trying to win a game, is losing probes because they are meat shielding for your other units, otherwise they would die. Okay, pulling back, 27 to 29 workers. Army supply fairly even here too. Zest has a tiny bit of a lead, but what a scrap fest this is right now. Nobody really on a super great economy. Nobody has a huge, big, scary army. They're just trying to get good trades. Ah, free Phoenix there counts for something. Phoenix did no damage. That's definitely a free Phoenix. Are you seriously trying to come back on in here and get that sentry? That sentry is bottled up in the middle of that group. Just bottled up tight, like a Mento in a bottle of Coke. Anyway, defending here is Zest. Adepts do finish their shade on in. Resonating Glaives means they attack quickly, which means they can kill the opposing Adepts exceptionally well. That bonus versus light is huge. The Immortals are more of a problem, but Shield Battery healing that guy up like a boss. He only has one kill, but he is not dead at all. More probes going down for Zest, which is horrible, but he's not dying either. So that counts for something. Worker count is even. So, I mean, at this point, in most situations in StarCraft, if you have been droning up or probing up or SCVing up for a while, maybe a little bit too much, and an army shows up that's way bigger than yours, pull the probes, defend with the workers. You can afford to do so. It's fine. Nice wall off against those Adepts. Because look at that. How many probes have died here today? 9 probes. I guess Zesta's lost 10. But yeah, that's the thing. Worker count in favor of Deer at the moment. Wow, he did a good job, actually, saturating his natural base here, whereas Zest kind of doing the same thing. It's more of a transfer from their main bases than anything else. Deer chasing away the last vestiges of what Zest is doing over here on the right side. Warp Prism. Are these Immortals? What's in here? Those are Immortals. Oh gosh, don't lose that Warp Prism. Okay, so he's just, for some reason, bringing the Immortals back. I guess they killed the pylon on the Stargate is what they were doing. You can make another one. You have a probe, you know. There it is. Fantastic. Oh, Zest has the Immortals, the all-important Immortals. Not too shabby against Adepts in general, but also with Stalkers there, it's not really that great of a fight. Immortal has to knock down his own pylon to get out of his own base. What is this world coming to when that is the case? Hey, an Oracle showed up. Deer losing a ton of probes here. Oh, he's not pulling them either. Guy, you can't just, dude. Okay, that one of the more effective Oracles I have ever seen at a pro level in StarCraft 2. 20 kill Oracle, and he gets out of there. Once again, Deer trying to push it and get this thing done. Army supply 48 to 53 in favor of Zest. He's got the shield battery advantage. He's got the Immortal advantage here too. Deer kind of standing on in, trying to make this thing happen. Phoenix lifting and killing, but I think that's the last Phoenix that Zest made today, and bam! GG from Deer. Zest wins it and does force a game number 5 here today. A lot of it came down to that worker count. 30 probes down. That Oracle got 20 kills. 20 kills. Man, just one moment of inattention is all it took to really cripple his economy back home. He figured he had to go for it now or never. It was going to be a hard time catching up in this situation, and he decided to go for it. Couldn't get it done. The Phoenix doing some serious work. The Immortals doing some serious work. End of the day there were still 6 Immortals remaining for Zest and only 4 Stalkers and 4 Adepts. And that was going to be all she wrote. So Zest recognized he was in a great spot and just held, and that's all he had to do. That's all he had to do. Only lost one of his Immortals, too. Pretty good control there by Zest. All right, we've got a Game 5. A Game 5 coming up. Don't know that we've had one of these in a Sunday series in the last few weeks. It seems like generally what we've been seeing instead are like 3-1 results or whatnot. But anyway, let's go do it. Game 5 coming up next. For Game 5, Deer has spawned in the bottom right instead of the top side of the map. Is that a sign? We will see. Bottom right-hand corner, we've got Deer. And top left of Kairos Junction, it is Zest. All right. Man, it's been some short games today. Has anything gone longer than 10 or 11 minutes? I don't think it has. I think one game had a third base here from Zest, but other than that, man, 2 bases or less. All right. Once again, here in the early game, what do we have to talk about? If you have any suggestions for me of stuff you'd like me to cast, let me know in the comments, or just send me an email to falconpaladin@gmail.com with a replay you want to see me cast, or a player you really love to see, and I would love to take that into consideration. I just like doing stuff that the people's want. So, again, lotv.spawningtool.com has a ton of replays from pro players. If you're like, man, I really want to see some innovation, go find me a replay you want me to cast, and I'll do it. Even older stuff, maybe, to a certain extent. If it's too old, I can't cast it because it doesn't load in the replay interface anymore. The game's like, no, this is too old. It makes me sad. But some things, like anything from Legacy of the Void for the last, I don't know, a couple years is probably cool. Probably totally cool. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Cybercore people are doing their stuff. Nobody's going for the proxies today. Check it for proxies. I think that's what that is. Although, never mind. Zest doing the old put a pylon up so that when we're counting pylons, there's one missing play. Same deal. Just want to make sure you don't die to some crazy, stupid proxy in Game 5. It's exactly what we're seeing here. Both players checking for those proxies. They're not going to see anything, but it doesn't hurt to check. They don't have overlords to look with. They don't have scan to look with, so they got to use those probes or else they die. Anyway, Cybercore coming in at about the same time for both players. Oh yeah, look at that timing. And then we go for, what? 2 Stalkers, bam, for Zest. A Stalker and a Sentry for Deer. And Warpgate Research getting started immediately as well. So the timing's perfect for both players. I don't see anybody who's ahead necessarily. Once again, counting pylons. Okay, counting pylons for Deer is fine. Any sign of... Boy, no scouting at all yet from Deer. Is that going to come back and bite him? I don't know. I don't rightly know. Did he block? Oh, that's a Deer pylon. Okay. It's a Deer pylon. Sounds like woodland creature deer. It's not what it is, though, is it? No, of course not. Okay. Boop, boop, ba-doo. Stalkers really want to kill that pro, but can they? Can they? It's the question of the day. Will this probe survive? He is running for his life and his... What rhymes with survive? Running for his life, and he's really jive. Songs are hard. Songs are hard. And the probe goes down. All right. Boop, 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 bloop, 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 bloop. Robotics facility from Zest. Further tech includes an expansion, a really quick expansion from Deer. Deer, what have we learned today? The player that expands the first ends up the loser. Actually, hang on. In the last game, was it Zest that expanded first? No, it wasn't. It was definitely Deer because he was defending his expansion and it didn't go well in the long run. Or it did go well in the... getting these players confused. It's all Protoss in my head. All of it. Anyway, I guess I could let you know what these players did to get to this point in the playoffs of Summer Asus Rogue 2019. Specifically, Deer ended up winning a group involving Time, Showtime, and Ragnarok. And then Zest took second place in a group with Cyril, Neeb, and Petit Drogo. So not too bad. Obviously, Cyril did better than Zest did because Cyril is an automaton sent from the future to kill us all for our sins. So there's really not much shame in that. Robotics Bay coming in from Zest. All right. Alrighty then. We're going to see more of these disruptor shenanigans. More of them. And my gosh, do these players want to kill each other fast. There is no sitting back. There is no hanging back and just being like, well, let's just go to 3 bases, everybody, and we'll see where we go from there. Like, ZVP and ZVT are often that. Often very much, but not today. Ooh, that's a good... It's a juicy-looking pylon there, but an immortal pops out right in the nick of time. And the Stalkers are trying to kill as many probes as they can, but taking huge hits from that immortal in the meantime. And that's probably a recall out of there. It feels like a recall position, if you ask me. And there it goes. Whoop. I wish there was a sound associated with the actual recall. Like, when it starts working, it sounds pretty cool. But then, eventually it just kind of gives up and goes, nothing, no sounds at all. Army supply 27 to 30 in favor of Deer. Worker supply 23 to 22 in favor of Deer. Stalker sentries. Checking around for proxy. Still nothing to find whatsoever. Phoenix does end up seeing a robotics bay. Huge scout from Deer seeing the robotics bay. Just knowing what's possible and what's coming here. It's got to be disruptors because that's what we saw the last game. So disruptors coming in. Not the last game, but the last time we saw anything from the bay. It was disruptor. Both players not going for disruptors. We're not going to see some disruptor tennis. And a late Stargate, interestingly enough, here from Deer. So Phoenix would be interesting. Oracle might be pretty nice too for Revelation. Just for the vision that would be available here. And chrono boosting the heck out of that disruptor. One's up, picks it up immediately. Let's go. We have our disruptor. We have an immortal. We've got a bunch of adepts who did pretty well for us. Ooh, we're meeting out at the same time. Hey, look at this. Oh no, these adepts are in trouble. Trying to force field them in there like they're Zerglings. Oh, Nova double picks up at the last second. The immortal does not go down. Oh, that's a huge Nova hit there. And Zest pushing against the situation. Suddenly up 30. Actually down 30 to 32 army supply here. Who's losing stuff? Ah, some adepts wandered on into Zest mineral line and tried to kill some things, but defensive adepts actually exist. So 3 immortals here from Deer. Holy smoke. It's going to take a serious disruptor hit for Zest to win this thing. And that might be one, actually. Okay, well, 1 immortal is dead. And a couple stalkers, too. Wow! Not microing super well against those disruptor shots today, Deer. Problematic for sure. 23 to 19 workers in favor of Deer. Again, a lot of those probes are hiding, though. Where the heck are his 23 probes? I don't see. I guess that's nice. 16 plus 3 plus 3. Okay, fair enough. It's not at his natural base, though. That's for sure. Once again, Zest not expanding. He needs to win with this thing. It is tight. It is really close. Shield batteries helping Deer. His army supply value is 22 to 35 for Zest, which is bad. But he does have 2 immortals to the 1 immortal of the blue Protoss player, so that's nice. I love the observer up here in observation mode. It's beautiful stuff. Where did he lose the he lost, whoa, he's lost 2 disruptors. Okay, that makes it a little bit scarier. Boy, there is still not an expansion. This is going to be a really fast best of 5, ladies and gentlemen, especially considering it went 5 games. Oh, did he lose that immortal? Did he lose that immortal? He tried to save it. He did. He really did try to save it. All these adepts want to finish that shade. Go ahead, shield batteries. Do your worst, they say. Immortal on the high ground for Deer is trying to do stuff, but it's not working out super well. 33 to 18 army supply. Backed into a corner. Trying to do some really fancy shuffling with that warp prism. Is it working out? I don't think it is. This immortal sitting here at 2 kills. This immortal's got 0. Stalker count falling. Oh, 10 army supply now. For Deer, can his 1 immortal save the day? I don't know. 3-kill immortal here. Couple sentries coming in. Using their long distance attacks on this warp gate. It is 1 base to 1 base right now. 20 to 23 workers, but the army supply is double right now for Zest. He's coming up the ramp. Sure, there's a pylon, but it doesn't matter. Hallucinating a Colossus. That feels like some BM to me. When do you hallucinate a Colossus in a situation like this? Deer knows there's no Colossus on the field. It doesn't really matter at the end of time. All these probes are going down. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And the economy is in the toilet for Deer. Zest has done it. Ladies and gentlemen, after losing the first game and going down 2-1, Zest wins the final 2 games in this best of 5 and is your victor today in 9 minutes exactly. None of those games any semblance of a macro game today. How crazy is that? I was expecting one of them to go 15 or 20 minutes, but nope. Not even a single time, strangely enough. Call these losses. Every time somebody loses one of these games, it's like, oh, I lost twice as many resources as my opponent did. It's never been close at all, really. Somehow there was a void ray out for deer. I don't know where that was or what it did or if it accomplished anything at all, but it's dead now. That's without question. And once again, Zest able to win with a bunch of Adepts. Adepts really paying for themselves effectively here. He lost 19 of them, but he had 8 at the end of the game, including 4 Stalkers and an Immortal. Lost his Disruptors, unfortunately for him, but he's able to kill 5 Disruptors of Deer's. 5! The control a little bit sloppy there from Deer, I gotta say, but wow, man, just one base attacking it there. Disruptors, they weren't the play in the end, but the Adepts and the single Immortal getting it done for Zest there. Just better control, backing out when he needed to, shading in with the Adepts when he needed to, and getting that win. Good stuff. All right, well, you know what? That's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your Sunday series. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.